Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery for the bi-weekly webinar today, December 11th, 2014. And I've got Chris and Adam on with me for support as usual. Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello?
Good, good. We got a lot to cover today, so I'm going to go through a few of these presentation slides to get us started, and then we will get into the presentation itself. So, starting off with what we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about social link building apps. There's been a lot of buzz right now because of Syndwire being promoted heavily, which is Joe Troyer's application. It works pretty well. I've got both of these in addition to what we do with our IFTTT network, so I can actually show you guys the dashboard of both of these applications and how they work and that sort of thing. I'm going to give you my opinions on them because I do use both of those as well. So we're going to talk about those, in part because we had some questions yesterday for the Hump Day Hangouts that I didn't give proper attention to, so we're going to cover those as well, probably right up front. We're going to talk about DA boosting. We talked about it a little bit the last time we had a public webinar before Thanksgiving, but we didn't get to get into it as far in depth as I had hoped, and also since this is the members only webinar, the last one was public, I'd like to go into some specific examples of how to do this that I wouldn't really want to share publicly. Okay, so I'm going to go into that, and then we're going to talk about SAPER. SAPER is a great little software program that one of our members, Adam Patel, actually sent me a link to a while back to test out, and I have been testing it recently. I've set up a few campaigns with it, which basically what it does is it integrates with the SAPE.ru network, which are the Russian network. Russian links, and you can find some really high-powered links for dirt cheap. They're not the greatest of links, and in fact some of them are probably hacked links, that kind of stuff, but it's there, and if you can use it properly, it can have some good effect. And so we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to actually show the software and the links on where you can get it and all that kind of stuff. Then that's going to bring us right into using 301s. 301 redirects, because if you're going to be using any kind of SAPE links, I suggest that you buffer them properly, and 301 redirects is one of the ways that we can do that. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to have any Q&A at the end. Obviously, Chris and Adam, both of you guys know just to jump in at any time if somebody asks a question, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So first thing, let me go ahead and show my entire screen, and we'll jump into the community to finish asking or answering questions from yesterday, and then we'll get into the SociSynd stuff. So let me go to the events page. We had a really good Hump Day Hangout yesterday. It went an hour long, but there was a lot of good questions that I tried to get to. So by the way, guys, the replay is going to be up on the new events page that I set up for next week. I just hadn't done that yet. I'll probably do that as soon as we're done today here with this webinar, and go ahead and invite everybody to that, and you guys can come check it out and post your questions on the new events page as well as watch the replay. So, okay, so Jaime asked yesterday, and I got into it very briefly at the end, but I'd like to go into more depth here. He says, do we need SociSynd or Syndwire for our social media campaigns for clients? Do we need it? No. Will it help? Yes. And the reason I say that is because it's additional link sources, right? And I use SociSynd. Let me first of all explain what my opinions are of both of these, and to that we can actually go back to the slideshow for a moment. Wait a minute, what happened? Here we go. Okay. Social link building app, SociSynd. It's about 90% automated. I like it because it's got crowdsourced accounts. In other words, there's a ton of people that are a part of the SociSynd network, okay, which means that they've submitted their own set of accounts to the network. And when you post to SociSynd, which again is about 90% automated, and we're going to walk through both of these programs here in just a moment, guys, but I'm giving you my overall view of them first. When you submit a post to the SociSynd network, it will post on other people's accounts, not your own, period. Okay, so they have something in place that prevents it from posting on your own account. So it goes out on other people's accounts. So you get extreme domain diversity by using SociSynd because it's going out across everybody else's accounts that's in the network. You know, obviously your IP diversity is restricted to however many IPs, you know, each, you know, like Tumblr, it's going to be the same IP, but you're going to get different domains. So it's very powerful in that respect. However, the drawback with SociSynd is that you can't control the quality of other people's accounts. So with that said, there are a lot of spammers in SociSynd. And because of that, your posts, the posts that have a link back to your site, are going to get mixed in with posts to pharma stuff and you know, to make money online stuff, and in the Empower network, you see that kind of crap all the time, and you see really poorly done posts and things like that, and that you don't have any control over that, right? Because they're not your own sites, so you can't control, and it doesn't matter. It's not like you can set up. There's categories and topics that you're supposed to pick in SociSynd, and we'll get into the dashboard in a moment, and I'll show you what I mean. But people don't abide by that. Again, there's a bunch of spammers in there. So your posts will go out and will be right next. Like, for example, you could be promoting a, let's use Michael Bose as an example, a tax product, you know, tax software, a tax preparation software, and it could be right next to something that's for, you know, what is it, acai berry, you know, weight loss, or green coffee bean extract, or something like that. So it really makes no sense, right? So you don't have any control over that. So that's part of the reason. That's one of the drawbacks about SociSynd. But the way I look at it is that there are social links in nature. So they're social and Web 2.0 links, and they're not going to have any anchor text whatsoever. It's usually just a naked URL. So I'm not so worried about it, and that's why I use SociSynd a lot. In fact, I've got 2 licenses for it. I've run one on my local computer, the one that I'm on right now, and then I've got one on one of my dedicated servers. So I do use it quite a bit. All right. Whoops. That said, so Syndwire is more manual. Plus they're all your own accounts, so you have to continue to add accounts in there for however many accounts you want to add. I'm going to show you mine dashboard in a moment and show you that we have about, like in my Syndwire account, I've got like over, I think, like 541 Web 2.0 accounts in there right now, and you can keep adding to it. I'm going to keep adding to it as well. I just haven't recently. So, but you'll see it's more manual posting. And what's cool about Syndwire that you can't do with SociSynd is you can create themed networks. But remember, again, they're your own. So if you're only going to submit, you know, 50 or 60 properties to Syndwire, or add 50 or 60 properties to Syndwire, then you're going to constantly be posting on the same networks, right? The same sites, and so you're not going to get the diversity that SociSynd will give you. But you can create themed networks, which means the links coming from those are going to be so much cleaner with higher trust flow, right? That makes sense. And it's also, what I use Syndwire for is for boosting previously syndicated content. So in other words, obviously IFTTT is what we start off with, right? Any content that I publish on the blog or from a YouTube channel, and you guys know I'm doing a ton of YouTube stuff right now, but everything goes out across the IFTTT networks first. And then I just wait and see, generally, give it about 2 weeks to see where the content is finally going to settle in the search results, right? And then if I need to boost it, that's where I'll use Syndwire. Okay, I'll take the video, for example, and I use it mainly for video stuff, not necessarily for websites, although you can use it for that. It's fine. But I use it mainly for boosting videos. If the video has not got to page 1 or it's, you know, not where I want it to be yet, then I'll go ahead and do another syndication blast with Syndwire to the video. And like I said, you can also build links back to a blog post or whatever. So that's how I use that. Now with SociSynd, I use SociSynd to pillow, right, or to build cushion links, to dilution links to all of my websites, especially websites, okay? Because if I'm going to hit them with any anchor text links whatsoever, I want to have a lot of non-anchors, or, you know, just URL links and generic anchors like bookmark type stuff already for each one of the pages that I'm going to hit up with an anchor text link, right? So that's why I use SociSynd. I use SociSynd mainly for website stuff, and I use Syndwire stuff for YouTube, for video stuff. And so I hope that kind of clears that up a little bit. Hope that explanation was clear enough. So we'll jump into the dashboards here in just a moment. We'll which is better to use, SociSynd or Syndwire? Well, like I said, I just explained how I use it. Neither one of them is better. I mean, for more, to be honest, the SociSynd is more automated, and I like automation. That's part of the reason we have the IFTTT networks, right? Because it automates so much of what we do. And when you're dealing, and I know Jaime's got several clients as well, over 10 clients. So when you're dealing with that many clients, automation is key, and SociSynd is a heck of a lot more automated. So in your case, Jaime, I would suggest SociSynd over Syndwire. What is the difference between Syndwire and Hootsuite? Okay, Hootsuite is all Hootsuite does, and I mentioned this yesterday, but all Hootsuite does is it will syndicate content to like the main social accounts. If you go look at Hootsuite.com, you'll see that it just will syndicate to like Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And I don't know if they've added any others to that since. Let's see. We'll go to Hootsuite. We'll just check it out real quick. I had Hootsuite. Look at that. See if they've done anything different since then. It looks like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google+. It looks like nothing's different. So I don't see that how it's done anything different. But anyways, Hootsuite is very similar to what we use it for Buffer. Which, by the way, Chris, you're on, right? Can you jump in? Did you find out about Buffer and the thumbnail image with Google+?
Yeah, like how I solved it was pretty much, you remember for the IFTTT network, we used 2 links, one do follow and one no follow.
Mm-hmm.
I only used the link for the blog post itself and left the one for the blog out, and that fixed it for me.
That fixed it. Well, I'm glad you told me that, because I had not figured it out yet, and I just left it the way it was. So what I'm talking about here, guys, is that with Buffer and the IFTTT network, we use Buffer to syndicate our content to the Google Plus page, right? But with the attribution link, and I'm glad Chris figured that out, the attribution link, which would have a link back to the post with the post title as the anchor text, right? And then we would generally have appeared first on, and we would put a link back to the home page, whether it was hard-coded or whatever. And apparently it was pulling for Google Plus the thumbnail image for the post. It would pull the post from the homepage URL instead of the post link. And so the same, every time you made a post to Google Plus, automatically through IFTTT would be the same image every single time. And I hadn't taken the time to figure that out, but Chris just did. So that's the solution there. And maybe I'll do an update video, guys, and add it to the community and possibly into the IFTTT training course to say that, so that we can resolve that. But anyways, essentially, I'm sorry.
I actually used our famous plugin and modified it a bit. So I have a special feed just for the Google Plus feeds at the moment for exactly that syndication.
For this SMRSS plugin?
Yes.
Very cool. I haven't played with it yet. Damn it. So. All right. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, then I'll add an update video for those that do not use the plugin, and then we'll also have that available. Cool. I appreciate that, Chris.
Okay.
So Hootsuite does something very similar that as Buffer does. You can automate your postings to your Google Plus page, not your profile, but your page, plus to the other Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Typically, I don't do any automating postings to LinkedIn because it'll get your account shut down, at least not spam accounts. So that's why we don't even use LinkedIn in the IFTTT networks. Facebook pages, yes, you can do that. So anyways, it does the same thing. And with a free account with Hootsuite, you can add, I think, 2 RSS feeds. So essentially, you can take your RSS feed directly from your website and connect it to Hootsuite, and it will auto post to those accounts. So that's just I use IFTTT instead of Hootsuite, but that's one way that you can do it. All right, let's go back and answer a couple more of these, and then we're going to move into the dashboard of the social applications. How can SociSynd help us increase ranking, because we are thinking of getting this instead? Yeah, Jaime, I just talked about that with using it to pillow your sites. It's really, really important to do that. So, and also you asked about, can we use SociSynds for our BBNs as well? Yeah, and I totally suggest doing that, because Google with especially with PBNs, if you're buying an expired domain, you put new content on it, and all of a sudden it's a static domain now, like nothing is changing. You're not adding posts to it, and it's not collecting its own links and receiving traffic and that sort of thing, then that link becomes less powerful in Google's eyes. Even if the metrics say that it's a powerful link, it becomes less powerful of a link. If you guys don't think that Google's watching traffic and and watching the activity on blogs, then I think you're misguided, because I'm almost certain they are, and in fact, if they're not yet, they will be soon. So.